Good morning. Today is Friday, November 14th, 2025. The time is 10:30 a.m. My name is Amy Croto, and I am the hearing officer assigned to this dog hearing today of Allen versus Mercier, for Mercier versus Allen. I'll read into the record the notice of hearing dated October 23rd, 2025. Ms. Lori Allen, 51 Gristmill Path, Marston's Mills, 02648. Dear Ms. Allen, I've scheduled a hearing under the provisions of Chapter 140, Section 157 of the Mass General Laws on Friday, November 14th at 10:30 a.m. based on a complaint received regarding a dog harbored by you. The complaint states that the dog is dangerous, which is in violation of the Town of Barnstable dog regulations, specifically Chapter 403-17. The hearing will take place at Town Hall, 367 Main Street, Hyannis, in the Selectmen's Conference Room on the second floor. You'll be given every opportunity to be heard at this time. I request that you make every effort to attend this hearing. Sincerely, Mark SL's Town Manager. Which is delivered in hand to Lori Allen by Animal Control Officer Lewis on the 23rd of October at 2:10 p.m. Any individual providing testimony today, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence you're about to give in this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. So we have here the complaint that was filed by Ashley Mercier, 177 Camelback Road, Marston's Mills. After first being duly sworn, makes this her affidavit and states the dog owned by Lori Allen, residing at 51 Gristmill Path, Marston's Mills, is of dangerous disposition. Said dog being described as a golden retriever Jojo. Statement of facts: while standing at our school bus stop with my dog on a leash alongside two other parents, the unleashed dog with no owner in sight ran towards my dog and attacked her totally unprovoked. At that same moment, my son and the other children witnessed the incident as they came off the school bus, which had just pulled up. The two other parents were present, were able to pull the attacking dog off mine and had to unpry its jaws from holding on to my dog's side. As soon as my dog was free, I hurried back to my house with my dog and my son, and this was dated the 17th of October. So Ashley, I'll let you go first.
Well, it was obviously a very traumatizing incident for everyone involved, including all the kids. To this day, my son still is nervous for us to even take our dog to the bus stop. That pretty much sums up what happened. It was very scary because the dog was pretty much like stalking down the road towards my dog, who was just sitting there. So in light of hearing that there was other attacks previous to this, we felt that we should move forward with the dangerous dog hearing. I know that Matt, his the older daughter, was walking their dog and also had an incident with the same dog. So we just don't feel that this dog is safe to have in the neighborhood anymore.
Okay. Matthew?
Hi, I'm the neighbor. So over the summer, my daughter takes our dog for the walk around the neighborhood. And I'm just at the house, and I get a FaceTime phone call, my kid hysterically crying. Didn't know what happened, didn't know if she got hit, I don't know, I was kind of freaked out. And come to find out that our dog got attacked by the dog here that we're talking about. And I'm not sure if it was the landscaper or the UPS driver, but some man had to pull the dog off my dog. My 12-year-old was holding the dog on the leash. That traumatized her, so now my kids are scared to walk down to the cul-de-sac. I don't have my kids go down there anymore. And then my other daughter was getting off the bus at this incident that we're talking about. And now she's just freaked out that any white dog she sees, she's all kind of spooked. She even wrote a letter. This was not, me and my wife didn't say anything about writing a letter. She wrote this of her own accord right after the incident.
Okay, and do you want that added to the record?
If you guys want the information, this is from my 7-year-old's account. So.
Sure. Okay, and your daughter's name is?
It's Alana.
Alana?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So this is my side. Me and Colton were racing to see who can get off. So I won. I got off. Is this off the bus?
Yes.
And froze and saw the dog. I ran on the bus, I looked out the window and I saw Sky, and then I saw the other dog attack Sky. I was so scared. I started bawling my eyes out. Maya called the dog, and then the good dog was in the Riley's yard, and we saw it and ran. The dog ran to where we ran faster and faster. The dog followed us home. Me and Isabel were scared.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have another letter. Our other neighbor that was there, I believe he is the one that pried the dog off.
Okay.
Sky.
Yep.
I didn't read this one, so. Take that.
Thank you. Okay, so this is dated November 13th, 2025. To whom it may concern, I'm writing in regard to the Allen's Golden Retriever who attacked Sky, Ashley Mercier's dog, back in October. I've heard about attacks by this dog on other dogs in the neighborhood, and I was personally involved and witnessed the attack on Sky the day in question. It's my belief that the Allen's Golden Retriever is unsafe and poses a threat to other dogs in our neighborhood. On the day in question, Ashley, Brian, Pirtle, and myself were down at the bus stop waiting for our children to get off the bus. Ashley and Sky down at the bus stop, which she does almost every day. The bus stop is quite a bit of distance from the Allen's house. As we were waiting for the bus, we noticed two golden retrievers who were off leash with no one around coming down the hill towards the bus stop. One of the dogs stopped and did not approach any further while the other dog continued walking towards us. At this time, I told Ashley that I believed this dog to be the one who has attacked other dogs in the neighborhood and advised her to try to move away with Sky. As soon as I finished that sentence, the dog came charging at Sky and lunged at her, biting. Brian and myself jumped on the dog, and I had to pry the golden retriever's jaws open with my hands to get it to let go of Sky's back leg. As the attack happened, the bus was also approaching with our children. Unfortunately, the children could see what was happening, and Alana Hall and my daughter Isabel came off the bus and were crying because of what they had seen. This dog had also attacked Hall's golden retriever while their daughter was walking the dog on leash in the neighborhood some months prior. Brian was able to hold the dog while Ashley got Sky back to her house, and I called animal control. Mr. Allen eventually appeared yelling for his dogs. I approached him as he was walking down the hill and told him what had happened. He told me that he was outside washing his boat and the dogs must have pushed the door open and gotten out. Mr. Allen could not see that Brian was holding his dog and could only identify it by walking up and checking the identification on the collar. After the attack on Hall's dog, we all made sure not to walk our dogs in the direction of the Allen's house. Are we not allowed to walk our dogs in the neighborhood, period, fearing that the Allen's dog will appear to attack again? My dog, who fortunately has not had run-ins with the Allen's dog, goes out on a run in my backyard that's not fenced in. I now have to make sure that I'm outside when she is, in case the Allen's dog has gotten loose and wanders into my yard and decides to attack my dog. I sympathize for Mr. and Mrs. Allen. I know Mr. Allen has some health issues that might make it difficult for him to care for his dogs if his wife is not around. But it's not fair that others in the neighborhood have to fear their dogs being attacked. Us neighbors have done all that we can to avoid attacks by not walking our dogs near their house. There's not much else we can do about this situation. We're asking for help to make sure something like this does not happen again. It's already happened too many times. God forbid if one of our children are out walking our dogs and they get injured during an attack. I'm unfortunately unable to attend the hearing today as I'm working. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And that's from Nicholas Anderson, 123 Camelback. Emily?
I will.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
done.
continue.
I'm like, not today, I'm not.
So I did, after my daughter was on the leash with the dog and the dog got attacked, I did walk down to and have a conversation with her there. She did show me that the front door, the latch, did not work. So all the dog had to do was literally push the door even a little bit to get out.
Okay.
And that was back, I believe, in August. Just want to say, I don't think it's okay if it happens 6 times. Like, I don't like that my kids don't feel safe in the neighborhood. I don't think a mom that's trying to pick up her kid off the bus should feel in danger. All the kids are traumatized. It just kind of, it's unsettling. And 1 time I get, 2 times I understand, 3 times. I think this is like 4, 5, 6 times this has happened with dog.
Okay.
So that's all I got.
Okay.
I'm Ashley also, not
Oh,
Emily.
Ashley,
Sorry, my
okay.
handwriting has gotten worse as I get older.
No, I was assuming it was all in order and it just isn't, so.
Okay.
Ashley.
First off, I'm a huge animal lover and also am very close with the Allens. And this is very difficult for me to be here, but I'm trying to do what I consider to be the right thing. We also had 2 incidents with our yellow lab who has since passed. And they were a couple years in between the first one, same scenario where Pippa, our lab, was leashed and walking right in front of our house, and Jojo, I'm not sure if that she had come out the front door or jumped the fence. I think the fence was the second time. Pippa, our lab, and no dog fight is, they're very disturbing. And got locked onto her throat. Because she was an English lab, she had that big, thick extra coat, and also at the time, her collar on. Without that, it probably would have been more than what had happened. If it was any other dog, I think the dog would have been severely injured. My husband is not a petite man at almost 220, had a lot of difficulty prying off Jojo's jaws, who was a beautiful dog, and I just, the whole thing is very, very disturbing and upsetting to me, but I didn't do anything about it the first time, and that's my own fault. And the second time was just this past spring, and Pippa was older and had been diagnosed with cancer at that point, and it was the same type of scenario, and Lori and Gov and my husband were out front when it happened, and it was a period of time where they could just not get Jojo's jaws off of Pippa's throat. And I had run out, unfortunately, in my underwear, because you don't think straight, because I had heard it, and that sound is very upsetting. So that being said, just trying to stick to the facts, we love them, and I know how terrible this is, but it did happen twice. We would love to get another dog at some point, and I won't have another dog until I just don't feel safe. I need to have if I want my dog in the front yard, to know that something won't happen. I don't know what the scenario is where, this isn't I want Jojo put down. This is Jojo obviously has some mental health issues, just like people. And a perfect scenario for me would be a place where Jojo could just have a nice life without the stress of being in fences and, I see that as a limited life for a dog, even if there's lots of love in the household. But again, I'm being selfish, and my husband and my daughter, as much as they want to get a puppy or a dog, I won't do it because we are directly across the street in the line of fire. And I can't, twice was enough.
Okay.
Trust me, this is one of the most difficult things. I've had so much anxiety and stress over this. Like, I just wish it could all disappear.
I understand. Ms. Allen?
You ready for me? I have to read it only because, first of all, I want to apologize. I know Matt,
Yeah.
when you had come, I had asked you if you could bring your daughter down because Jojo has no aggression at all towards anyone. And I think, truthfully, that would have alleviated some of the anxiety of the children because, believe it or not, I have been heartbroken over the fact that your children have been impacted so greatly with this. I have taken steps, and I don't want to start getting upset because, I want to be neighborly, and I don't want everyone thinking that I'm an irresponsible pet owner because I'm not. And
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to just summarize it.
No, you can read
Well,
it. Go right ahead.
First and
This is,
foremost.
but, you know, this is the public hearing, so this is your opportunity to be
Okay.
heard, so I would recommend.
So first and foremost, I wish to express to Mrs. Mercier how disheartened and remorseful we are for the incident that took place on December 15th. Obviously, everyone else involved as well. Josephine got out of the enclosed backyard through a gate left unlatched by my husband. Then her brother and Jojo took advantage of the open gate, and Jojo unfortunately went down the hill, and I didn't realize that Finley, again, was with her, but. So, and a tax guy, knowing this along with the fact that children witnessed is heartbreaking. Unfortunately, I had gone to the dump and the incident happened during that short time when I was not home to monitor my husband and household. Okay, my husband has lived with diabetes for over 60 years and has caused a lot of physical and cognitive challenges. Chronic pain in his hands, feet, and back, ADHD, Charcot foot, pseudodementia, severe vision loss, and depression as he can no longer work in the profession that was his passion. It truly is nothing short of a miracle that he was able to somehow get down the hill to retrieve Jojo the afternoon of the accident. Well, none of these are excuses for what happened. These struggles are very real to us, and I have made every day task so much more challenging, frustrating, and overwhelming. Unfortunately, that factor has played a key part in security issues with our main storm door leading to the front yard, our backyard fencing, including the 4 gates with fencing all in the front yard and cul-de-sac. My husband does not always follow through and double check the latch to ensure it is fully secure and will not swing open. Not certain if it's ADHD or cognitive loss or combination of the both. With that being said, along with my belief that your efforts should rise above your excuses, we have made conscious and constructive efforts to make our property completely secure. And steps that have already been taken to secure our property. During the summer of 2024, several sections of our stockade fence in the back were blown down, and I hired a fence installer who replaced 21 sections of the 6x8 stockade fencing, extending it significantly farther than it was originally, how it had been originally made, to ensure that Finley and Jojo would remain on our property along the backyard. Then spending the majority of their playtime outside in the backyard, taking turns fetching the ball, chewing on their bones, playing with my grandchildren, to name a few. It must be mentioned here that Jojo or Finn have never shown any signs of aggression towards humans. When properly introduced, Jojo has not been shown any aggression to other dogs. She's never growled or shown any sign of agitation with her brother Finley or other dogs she knows, family, friends, strangers, adults, and children alike. She has never resource guarded or become defensive over food, treats, balls, stuffed, or any items that she loves. Unfortunately, black dogs and dogs on leashes seem to be a negative trigger for Jojo, which is the majority of dogs because there's a leash law. So the other things that were done, after the incident that she had jumped the fence, we extended a 4-foot picket fence gate by adding 18 inches of landscaping fence that brought it up so that she was not able to at least go over the fence. And this past summer, Eric also repaired and strengthened one of the gates leading to the front yard. He replaced the post so it was secure. In addition, we opted to replace the latch on the gate with a stronger, more secure one that will click shut. I have trained Jojo and Finley, along with Emily, to go into their place, their crate, when a person comes to the door in our house. Every time the door will be opened, they will retreat the crate so neither will be near an open door. This prevents either of them from getting out the door. At this point, when we approach the door, all we have to do is point and they will go into their place. One in the crate, sometimes both, and one on the bed. Emily, trainer, has witnessed this training procedure and the improvement both dogs have made over time. Jojo responds immediately, however, Finn takes his sweet time, which is so like him. He will, however, obey the command once it is given. Officer Antonio, Mr. Charles Lewis, and Ms. Croto witnessed the result of this training upon entering our home, and due to the incident, quarantine requirements and service of the letter for this hearing, that they came into our house. I have to add that this morning before I was coming down here, the doorbell rang and I was upstairs, so I came downstairs and there was a gentleman from Elder Services at the door, and Jojo was in her crate and Finley was on his bed. So with consistent training, I believe that it's definitely working. So that is that door. And that the latch, the reason that, and again, excuses are not acceptable, but clarification on that is that my husband had the door wide open and your daughter was walking the dog and there was a gentleman coming to take pictures of our house. And I think the excitement of that all, they never go to the door to try to push it open. So it was another time that my husband just is not aware of what he should be doing. Date of the incident, Antonio, the resource officer on duty, came to our home after checking on the dog and the dog's family. Names were not disclosed at that point, but I did feel the need to reach out. The next day, when dog warden Charlie Clark came and visited and gave the 10-day quarantine, that's when, excuse me, I knew your name, obviously, and Sky's name. And I did write you a letter in the hopes that we could sit down and communicate either by phone, by text, but because I was devastated to learn that Sky was not only attacked, but witnessed by, first of all, it's not only the children. I know, I've had that happen to me, and I still feel, and Emily knows this, traumatized. You are. And I get it. I do. That's why I'm trying desperately. Anyway, okay. As a mother and Gammy, I would imagine Ashley's emotional pain, and obviously your family's, and shock relating to this unfortunate incident. As the teacher of over 3 decades in the Barnstable school system, I am extremely sympathetic and devastated that these children experienced, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
A traumatic incident. As everybody, it's horrible. But she's not that dog, and I'm making every effort possible to not let any of this happen again. It would be my hope that you could bring your children to our house and really spend time with her. And I'm sorry, but that's your choice. You would probably, they would have a different maybe perspective. They would never forget it, but they maybe would have a little bit of a feeling that this dog is not bad all the time. But also, I was really eager to know through that letter if Sky was okay. And I responded in that if indeed something did happen and she was injured and she went to the vet, and I did the same thing with you, Matt, that I would definitely be responsible and pay for any injuries incurred. Saturday, I contacted Dog Watch. It's an underground fence company. Marie, who is the intermediate person that deals with clients, gave me a lot of insight into how this could be helpful in securing both dogs in the backyard. I did not at that point make a commitment because the next day I had a vet appointment with Finley, and for hot spot and ear infections, whatever. And I wanted to talk to the vet about what she felt, because she knows JoJo and Finley. And she really was nice enough, which, reflecting back, she really didn't have to talk to me about the dog that wasn't in front of her, but she suggested an electric fence. So that kind of was a solution that I felt, if the vet was saying that and I already had it in the works but not signing a contract, that's what I went with. And then them knowing the severity and the immediate, I needed a solution quickly, because I didn't want it to happen again, is I did sign the contract, and on Tuesday, a gentleman from the dog watch company had come and had spoken to me, as well as he had the notes, and he did not install the fence properly. And Mr. Lewis came the next day and said, "Why are the flags there?" And I said, "Because it wasn't installed properly." So they took care of that. The owner of the company lives in New York. He called me personally, and he drove 4 hours and redid the whole setup. And right now all the gates are covered. The fence in the back, which is a 6-foot stockade fence. And then the flags as far as near the road is also a safety net. And I can say I've been doing, and Emily too, a great deal of training. The gentleman did a great deal of training with me, with JoJo, and with Finley, because two of them together, you have to realize that they have that extra energy together. So he had done that, and I can say I have pictures and videos of what has taken place. They do not go near the fence. The next step is somehow getting them out the front door, which they will not be corrected, but once they reach the front flags, they would be. So I can only bring them in through the back into the front in the house.
Okay.
Because if I do it, otherwise they would be corrected.
Okay.
And I just want them to stay away from all fences, because I can't unfortunately rely on my husband, for various reasons that I stated, to always follow through.
Sure.
Emily and I continued work on, as I stated, she brought her three dogs. 2 are black labs, one's a yellow lab, and we set up different scenarios with the dogs actually coming into the backyard. I don't know if we did Tilly. We didn't. But I mean, at one point I think you even picked up one of the dogs and brought the dog to the gate. And going back to Ed, who's the owner, he felt it necessary they have to learn by getting zapped, which is sad to see, but that's what happens when you tackle the dog. Anyway, and then just recently, yesterday, I wanted a more, as I'm like, what do you call it? Like that it's not set up that.
Novel.
It's what?
Novel.
Okay. So one of my friends, I just wanted her to walk by with her dog, her Aussie. Like she parked way down the road. I did what I was doing in the yard. The person yelled, Ollie barked, and both dogs stood well away from the electric line where they get beeped. In fact, my friend had asked me, "Can you come here?" So the gate was still open, and I approached her. as well as Ollie. And the gate was open, they didn't move. I was baby talking with Ollie, whatever, and they got tired of me, Finley and JoJo, and just simply retreated and went up onto the deck. So I feel that as a responsible dog owner, I am doing everything possible. I don't know why she's like this. We got Finley at 8 weeks. We got Josephine at 1.5 years. She had been traumatized through her owner dying and being shuffled to a house where there were 3 children under the age of 3, 3 yippy dogs, and a dying uncle in a ranch. I can't say that that's, I know Emily, but there's some reason. She was the pick of the litter. And, you know, I was in communication the whole time with the daughter-in-law of the person that died, the breeder. And she was astounded. So.
Will we be able to have a copy of that for the record?
Absolutely.
And do you want us to make copies of these? You need anything for your record or?
Maybe, yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay.
May I say something?
We'll come back to you eventually.
I'm just saying that moving forward, we're going to, like I said, go do it in the front yard, and all the training will continue as far as their place. I don't know if you want the photos of all the training, but, or not.
And you're the trainer?
Yes,
Okay.
this is Emily.
Emily,
Okay, so I've been working with Lori and JoJo for years at this point. We started with some leash walking and e-collar training. So when we're in control of the dogs, they're wonderful, wonderful dogs, and very well behaved. Now, that doesn't account for obviously gates being left open and things like that. And obviously nobody can really control that situation. So I do think, as far as the electric fence coming through, it was the right choice. Personally, having seen the dogs work with the electric fence, I want to say it in the nice way, but they're not happy with the electric fence, and they will not, with one stim, at least JoJo's, she's very hesitant to even go near the fence again, and her recovery period takes a little while.
sure.
Finley is a big dope, and he'll keep trying, but he's very respectful of the fence if he gets stimmed by the fence. And I've had both dogs around my own animals on multiple occasions, walking, and then when we practice at the house. And there's, as far as my experience, there was no outward aggression with the fence line, especially. JoJo came nowhere near the fence. Finley would come up and just kind of sniff, but then he would retreat when the fence corrected him. And I left it, my one reactive dog that is very barky and growl, and she's friendly, but she likes to talk about it. I lifted her up over the fence so that way she could like cause a fuss. Neither dog did anything, they just stayed well within the fence line. And I brought her into the fence line just beyond. There's like a little corner of the yard where the electric fence doesn't cover, so I stood in that corner with my dog. They were on the other side. My dog was grumbling, making a fuss. Neither dog even approached the fence. And Lori had come over, pet my dog, talked to him while we were in the fence line. Gate was open, dogs were under control. So that I do think is the correct answer as far as fixing the security of the backyard. Now, both dogs are never off property without leash, like on walks or anything like that. They're always leashed. We did do off-leash training, but we don't practice that because there's no point. And that's not something Lori was ever comfortable with, so it's not worth it to me. But the dogs are safe to be off leash and recall. They're recall wonderful. It's okay. Both dogs' recall is wonderful, but I will say training wise, if I'm gonna rate one dog versus the other, JoJo's a wonderfully trained dog. And she does respond very well to training. Now, her reactivity, I think is an issue with under socialization when she was young. And I don't think, that's not necessarily an excuse, but we are working through it, and trying to figure out the best way to help her move forward, if that makes sense.
It does.
So we're continuing to work and practice and expose her to different things, moving forward.
Great. Senior Animal Control Officer Charlie Lewis.
Good morning. For the record, I served this notice for the hearing on 10/23/25 at 2:10 in the afternoon. On 10/15/25, the Natural Resource Officer, Mercier, responded to this complaint at 1700 hours. He was able to speak to Mr. Anderson and then to both dog owners. He explained license issues that were in arrears. He also explained that a quarantine would be issued as well, and he left the scene at that time. And then I received his report. So on the 16th, I went out and I issued the quarantine with explanation in hand. The report reflects pretty much what everyone has said here, so I won't read it in its entirety. I did have a conversation at my visit when I released the dog from quarantine regarding the invisible fence, because, as always, for some reason, the fence company likes to put the thing 2 feet from the road edge. And I'm just totally against that and voice my opinion accordingly. My opinion is that the fence should be within reach of the door and no further in any front yard bordering any roadway. And if it were in the backyard and that was exposed to another street, I would say the same thing. So that's all I have.
All right.
Just a note too is that this is the only incident that we have on record. I think individuals tried to work it out, but it has been brought to my attention, these previous incidences did take place. So.
Okay. Ashley, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just want to say that due to the unpredictability of the dog, I understand you're putting all of these safeguards in place, but what I saw that day with that dog, I mean, it's like a totally different dog, it seems, in two different perspectives. And when that dog is in that other mode, I don't think an electric fence will stop it. I mean, there's something mentally wrong that when that dog has its mind to go do something, it's gonna attack, whether you put all the electric fences up in the world. There's something that needs to be done to remove the dog from the neighborhood, because I don't feel safe with any of the safe places that you've put into effect. I just think that the dog is so unpredictable, and unfortunately with your husband adding another factor into the mix, I think that maybe you have your hands full in that regard, and so I just don't think that with him being in the house, and unfortunately you can't be there all the time, I don't think that you can safely keep that dog from those unpredictable moments, because you don't know what could happen. I mean, I still don't feel safe walking my dog up there, and I haven't purposefully because I had heard about the other attacks. I would think, the bus stop being a quarter mile away from where you're located would be far enough, but apparently it's not. I mean, that's a long way for both dogs to travel.
And that has never happened before, and I
Well,
don't
Just
really
gonna
know
ask
why.
that, again,
Yeah.
conversation is
Yeah.
directed
Oh, I'm
at me,
sorry.
not at each other.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, as has been stated, this has happened multiple times, and all of the safeguards that have been tried to be put in place haven't worked. And It just takes one other unpredictable moment and one slip up for this to happen again.
So I would like to know if.
I need you to
Okay.
just wait
Oh, I'm
until
sorry.
it comes back around to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I thought,
My concern is that we have 4 confirmed attacks, and all these safeguards are being put in finally now. The other thing too, with the husbands talked about like mental decline, that it might be too much of a burden. To even like, how do we know that the collar is going to be on the dog at the right time? And if it is that much of a thing, like if she's not home and it's only the husband, it's like we still can't guarantee that the dog's going to be, the collar's going to be on, or what's the dog doing. And if the trainer's here saying that she's been training that dog for multiple years, I don't think another month of training is going to do anything to fix the dog. I still don't feel like it's anything. It's just a little too much, a little too late.
Understood. Ashley, no, sorry, yes, Ashley. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
We're in the line of fire directly across the street, and it makes me very nervous. And I feel a little bit like being held hostage because of a situation I can't control, that we can't. It really comes down to a safety issue for everybody, but also like I'm being selfish. I won't get another dog, and I don't think that that's necessarily fair to us. And I didn't feel comfortable when my daughter was younger, when the first attack happened. I did speak with Lori about it, and it was upsetting, but it was, it's something that, the way that JoJo locks on, particularly to Pippa, who was a yellow lab, there would be no way that she could ever pry JoJo's jaws off. I don't know what would have happened if it was her by herself, or me. I didn't walk Pippa anymore because I was nervous, unless I was with my husband.
Okay.
And for the record, he agrees. He doesn't want to. He feels terrible as well. The whole, like I said, they're friends, my husband's clients, they're our neighbors. Lori introduced myself and Bob, but I have to look at the bigger picture for what I believe is the right thing.
mm-hmm. Okay.
And Laura, you had something to add?
If you're going.
You're the
Okay.
primary defendant.
Well, first of all, the dogs are not in the front yard unless they're going for a ride and they are leashed. And they are put in the car, and when they come back, they're on a leash, and I bring them to the backyard to go to the bathroom. So the issue of them even being in the front yard isn't an issue because they have plenty of room in the backyard. I still don't know if the dogs were injured because I haven't had an answer to that, which is disheartening. I do know people that have had their dogs severely injured, but I would like to know, because I would like the compensation or know the severity. Not that that negates, again, the attack, but the severity of the attack. It's horrible to witness. They're right, it is horrible. But I truly feel that having them not in the front, they said that I could, but it's not my choice to do that. The backyard is very secure, and the doorknob completely was replaced because it wasn't clicking. And now that, I didn't mention that, but that has been taken care of. And I have to state that my husband has lost so much of his life. So getting rid of her, I'm working very hard that that doesn't happen. And I'm sorry, I'm very sorry all of this happened. I'm very sorry that the children don't feel comfortable. I'm sorry that Ashley feels she can't get a dog, but I don't really know what else I can do to prove that I'm a responsible dog owner. And I'm doing everything I can to keep this dog safe and to keep everyone else's dog safe.
Understood. Emily, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Sure. And I would say, kind of going back to kind of defend myself a little bit, a lot of our training prior to these incidences were like basic obedience.
Okay.
It wasn't specifically regarding dog issues, aside from maybe like a little barking at the fence, which is resolved. But as far as kind of, again, in response to any issues that have happened, and I think everybody, when there's an issue with a dog, is reactionary. You fix things as things happen because you don't necessarily expect them, like an incident like that to occur. Dogs at large without an owner are going to act different than a dog with an owner, and I totally understand that. So having a safeguard in place to prevent the dogs from being at large again, I do think is fair, and continuing to test JoJo specifically, because I mean she's the problem, but to test her to prevent, again, any breakthrough in the future. I mean, right now, current tests are working well, and current practice and everything like that. And we'll continue to practice that. I mean, that's my goal, is that that fence is secure and she doesn't go near those gates ever again. And same thing as far as like, yes, the front yard is electrified, but if the door is left open, they can't go out the front door, even though there's not gonna be a specific like electric fence correction for walking out the front door. There's gonna be safeguards in place. And then you have the backup of the electric fence, obviously. But that's kind of the training plan put forward at this point.
May I say something else?
Yeah.
So Emily had mentioned the socialization piece, and she'll definitely attest to this, that, as I mentioned, there's been a time that I've been not walking JoJo or Finley, but another golden that we had that was attacked, and it stays with you for a long time. But me being fearful of it has a backlash in that I wasn't socializing Josephine either by taking her for more walks and knowing, because if she's been introduced, she has dogs that are friends that she will play with. I don't know why I don't know, but what I'm getting at is that I need to take her for walks, and I have purchased a muzzle, and I can't be doing the muzzle training when I'm doing the fence training, because she would definitely shut down at that point, I believe. So that is also something moving forward. Emily recommended the name and model of the muzzle, and I have that at home.
How long do you anticipate continuing on fence training before transitioning to muzzle training?
I mean, right now I think she's been cleared to start practicing in the front yard. So we'll continue to do that there. And then so I would say probably in a couple weeks at most. I've already put the muzzle on her a few times, and she's not happy about it, of course, but she tolerates it, and I think she will actually, I don't think she would, I mean, I don't think she'll be happy about it. I don't think she'll shut down. I wouldn't be too worried about that. So like at night, I do think you can start training her with the muzzle separate to the fence, obviously.
So it could be
It could be concurrent, yeah.
Okay. Officer
I have
West?
nothing further.
Okay. All right, so unless anybody has something new to add, I feel I have an adequate understanding of what happened the day of this event, where everyone's opinion on the matter lies, and can forward this information to the town manager so he can determine what type of decision or order will be issued. Typically, that's done within 10 business days or so. And then any town manager order would be delivered in hand to you, Ms. Allen, and would be mailed to you as the person who filed for the hearing.
I said
So,
one more thing.
okay.
Sorry. Given the husband's like mental and physical decline, you really can't prove or guarantee that the muzzle will always be on and the collar is always going to be on. And you have a roll of the dice of this dog getting out and potentially it's really not fixing an issue. I don't see at all.
I understand where
So-
your opinion on the matter lies.
Okay, thank you.
It is now 11:20, and I will close this hearing, and I thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.